Avengers is currently Marvel's most beloved IP. With Endgame becoming the highest grossing movie of all time, Avengers have brought Marvel to its prime. They've taken the top place in the superhero genre, and it's safe to say that they're going to stay there for quite a while now. So, if an Avengers game was to drop now, it should have caused an explosion and raked in a lot of money. But it did the exact opposite of that. It did explode, but not exactly in a positive way. Square Enix's Avengers game was a disaster in the market. They've reported a loss of $48 million, dollars, and apparently they've also lost 96% of their players since the game's launch. Well, what could have gone so wrong to bring it to this? Hey folks, I'm Spanster, and in this video, we're talking about why Marvel's Avengers was a massive flop. Before starting off, I just want to say that I've played through the game for making this video and I enjoyed the campaign. It is a fun playthrough. But then again, this video is purely opinion based and you may disagree with me on a lot of points. So with that out of the way, let's dive in. What would be an ideal structure for a AAA game based on the Avengers? Out of all things, why would it be a live service looter shooter? For all I know, it shouldn't even be in the RPG category. It's the Avengers, man. It just doesn't feel right. It flat out looks like they're trying to milk the IP for as much money as possible. Okay, so you like Avengers? Well, here's a AAA game based on the Avengers for $60. Oh, you've bought it? Well, it's a live service game, so you're going to have to keep spending more money for as long as you want to keep playing the game. There is a slight chance that they could have pulled this off if the design and the gameplay were good. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. The only good thing here is that it's not pay to win, but the content you get just isn't worth the $60 mark. A large chunk of the bashing that this game is getting is only because of the multiplayer aspect. It doesn't work at all. First of all, the matchmaking is really annoying and takes a lot of time. And it's even worse now because they've lost most of their players. You can go for a quick match, but then the game doesn't let you choose which mission you want to play or which character you want to play as. The environments are limited and you just keep revisiting them. And trust me, that gets boring sooner than you would think. A lot of areas like hangars and cliffs just look copy-pasted. And then there's the mission design. It's so repetitive that it's embarrassing. There are about 5 types of objective missions that just keep repeating. It seems like they've copy-pasted the same room all over the place along with the bad guys that spawn in it. Who wants to play a seemingly same level again and again and keep beating up the same bad guys? This copy-paste stuff applies to some of the campaign missions too. After halfway through the campaign, the game kind of takes a break from the story and starts giving you multiplayer-like missions. The gameplay in Avengers feels good, but when you dive deep into it, the cracks start to show. Some campaign missions are absolutely amazing, especially the ones that introduce you to new characters. Iron Man going from room to room, each time equipping a part of his suit while robots try to shoot him out. And Thor coming out of nowhere to smash up giant robot sentinels. Whack! The combat looks great. Every single character has a unique moveset, but it looks a lot better than it actually plays out. You can practice combos and master the combat for each character, but you can just as easily win by button mashing. And man, they have the entire roster of Avengers villains in their hands and they make you fight the most boring ones, robots. There's no variety in the enemies. Well, the robots do have variety among themselves, but it's far from enough. Nobody wants to play an Avengers game and fight the same boring robots on each level until the game ends. For bosses, they went with Taskmaster, Abomination, and Modok. I mean, they're okay, but knowing it was a Marvel game, they could have put in so many more bosses which could have made a positive difference in the gameplay. Another disappointing thing is the upgrade system. Equipping gear doesn't change your appearance at all, because for that you have to pay money. Yep, that's right. You can buy a $60 game to play as Iron Man only to find out that you have to pay more money to change his suit. The gear is useless. It doesn't change much of your stats until you are at a very high level, and by that time, you will probably be done with the campaign and won't want to waste your time on the great multiplayer. The same goes for the skills upgrade system. While upgrading skills works a lot better than upgrading gear, you'll only have upgraded a few skills before the campaign ends and you're left just with the multiplayer. The campaign has a unique and amazing story. Everyone from the writers to the voice actors nailed it, but at the same time it's very controversial. Avengers puts you in the shoes of Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, and the story is mostly told through her perspective. Now here's the thing, I don't think that's what people were expecting after the teaser they showed us at the last E3, which is the mission you're seeing right now. I mean, people have watched the Avengers movies and they want to play as the Avengers. After all, the game is named the Avengers, and Miss Marvel is a very lesser known Avenger. And I don't think many of us even knew she existed until now. And for half of the campaign, you're playing as her. That didn't sit well with some people. Kamala is portrayed in a great manner. She has great combos, she's a good character, but at the same time she's kind of stealing the limelight from the characters people wanted to play as. This game is poorly optimized, and on the PC I faced some huge frame drops, like from a smooth 50 FPS to suddenly 15 FPS. It's also filled with bugs and glitches, and some of them break the game and force you to reload the last save. In my playthrough, I encountered dozens of glitches like audio switching off, inaudible dialogues and sound effects, enemies with unlimited health, glitching enemies, me having unlimited health while enemies ignore me, and my AI companions vanishing. They're funny but extremely annoying, especially the ones that break the game. And this just adds to the player's disappointment and frustration and makes Avengers more unplayable than it already is. So there you have it. They could have made a great game if they kept it simple and worked more on the single player stuff instead of trying to make it a live service game. But they decided to walk the money path and failed. And according to some critics, they deserved it. On one end, we have amazing Marvel games like Spider-Man and Miles Morales, but on the other end, we have this. Suffice to say, it doesn't look like Avengers is going to stay around for much longer. They've already planned future DLCs, but looking at the sales and player numbers, this game's future doesn't look bright. And I don't think we'll be getting a new Avengers game anytime soon. All we can do now is sit and hope that when we do, if we do, it's a deserving Avengers game and not Anthem Avengers Edition. So that was it for the video, guys. Consider subscribing if you liked it. I am pretty new at this YouTube stuff and I would love to hear your feedback and suggestions on how I can improve. So feel free to drop them in the comments. Until next time.